Tech Talk, and I shall press it for you right now, and Matthew will be able to hear it.
The latest news of what's hot and what's not in the world of technology with Mathew Dickerson on Tech.
I do love it.
There you go.
Fantastic. Love it every week.
How are you?
I'll be starting to be charged some sort of royalties at some stage in the future, won't I?
I think you will. I think
DCFM will hit me with a bill for a few $1 million for royalties on that.
Yeah, we will.
Maybe I've given you a bad idea now. I shouldn't have said anything.
No, you shouldn't have said anything. It was like me yesterday when I said, I don't think I'll do this story for the Regional Council. The Sydney Opera House are charging a levy for security. And I said, that might give people ideas for the theatre. And I thought, I'll shut up on that one.
Yeah, good idea.
Now, what's this business about Tesla's solar glass roof tiles? What's all this about? I mean, it sounds like a good idea, but...
Yeah, look, the concept has been around for a while where you don't put a normal roof on your house. Instead of putting roof tiles or a zinc roof on the top, then you just put solar panels as part of the roof. And so that sounded like a great idea, except it seemed to be more expensive and structurally not as sound as having a normal roof and putting solar panels on top. So the general advice had been, if you want solar panels, even if you're building a new house, put your roof tiles on, put your iron roof on, whatever you want to do, and then put your solar panels on top. But Tesla's been working on a solution, and they've come up with a solution now that basically says you can put an entire roof on for less cost than if you're putting a new roof and solar panels on top. It's not designed to go and replace your existing roof with solar panels because that would still be more expensive than putting solar panels on top. But this basically takes away that concept of having to worry about putting something separate on. So if you're building a new house, or if you're replacing your roof because your roof was worn out, then replacing it with solar panel roof is the concept, and the cost of it is about the same as putting solar panels on, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so you have an iron roof or a tiled roof, you put the solar panels on, that cost is X. Doing the whole thing with the Tesla thing is Y and about the same.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the other part is I'm not that concerned about it, but some people are concerned about the look of their house when they drive up to their house, especially if the front of their house faces north.
Yeah.
Then they don't like the look when they drive up and see the solar panels on top. But this looks like a normal roof. It's a dark colour, obviously, because solar panels are dark. It's a dark colour, but I think the concept is fantastic, and I can see more and more houses across the world actually getting to the point where they will just be part of the construction.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more. I think it's a great idea too. Now, this story blows me away, absolutely blows me away. Portable ultrasounds.
Yeah, I mean...
That is sensational.
Well, no, I think the really confusing part about this is that when you walk into a hospital, you can pick the doctors by the stethoscopes hanging around their necks.
Yeah.
And if suddenly they're just carrying around a portable stethoscope in their pocket, what are we going to do about it? So the idea is obviously that you've got a device, it's an ultrasound device, it does actually connect to their mobile phone. So if someone comes in and rather than pull out the old stethoscope, listen to someone's heart, listen to their chest, listen to their back and pick up what's going on, they can actually see a live, real-time ultrasound. Now, when you go into the ultrasound, and when I'm thinking, for example, when my wife's had a baby or been pregnant, you go and look at the ultrasound, you can see it's incredible, the baby moving around inside, but you've got this huge bit of equipment sitting there to process all of that.
Yeah.
That's now down to the size of something you can carry in your hand. So you can literally, someone can walk in, I think I've got a bit of problem with my heart, or I've got something wrong with my chest, they can pull out this handheld ultrasound, paste it on the person's body, on the patient's body, and then watch on their mobile phone, the same as if you were sitting in an area where you had a huge bit of machinery and a big screen.
And the nice thing about it was designed in Melbourne, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's
So
Australian.
Look, Australians are very innovative in what we do and very ingenious in some of the stuff we do. I just don't think the environment's quite right. We lose a lot of Aussies overseas because the environment seems to be more productive overseas for that sort of innovation.
Okay, I've got to do this. I have eaten Captain Crunch in America. It tastes just like sugar. Captain Crunch is like cornflakes, folks.
Except with 3 times the sugar.
3 times the sugar, and quite frankly, it's revolting. But anyway, to all those Captain Crunch Americans who still like it, they're living in Australia and get it shipped in. It's like their toothpaste, which is total sugar too. Tell us about the early hacker and Captain Crunch.
Back in the very early days, when you got Captain Crunch, you actually got a whistle inside the box.
Yeah.
And that whistle has been used as a way to get into various telecommunications outlets in the early days. So you could actually produce a whistle that produced a certain tone that made the device at the other end think that it was a certain computer tone coming through. And so hackers, when we think about hackers sitting in there in a little enclosed room and a darkened room and working away with 17 screens in front of them, the early hackers started off with a whistle, which sounds quite incredible. But that's what hacking's about. It's about using whatever tools you've got. Not that I'm promoting hacking, of course, but it's using whatever tools you've got to be able to get into other systems.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Very quickly, Matt, before we go, there is a camp now in America to get teens off phones.
Well, it's actually in South Korea. So in South Korea, they're detoxing young students from 10 to 19. They're talking about, and I think it's probably applicable for a lot of adults that I know as well, but they're saying that the addiction to their technology is so bad that a lot of these kids are telling stories about staying up all night, staying up till 4 a.m, and then trying to go to school the next day. Their school performance is dropping, and the teachers are noticing it. And when they're starting to look into them a little bit further and look into their lives, they're finding that they're just so addicted to their smartphones, to their technology, they just can't get off it. So they're actually introducing detox weeks, or 10 days actually it goes for. So you basically go into detox, you have no electronics, no devices. I think some kids would just about go apoplectic in that sort of environment, but they just need to get away from it. And again, I think there's some examples where adults could do it as well, but these digital detoxes are done in school holidays to try and help parents get their kids away from their digital devices.
Oh, the Valley would be rolling. Actually, it reminds me now, with Korea, a lot of the early psychology stuff on this was done by universities in Korea.
Yeah, right.
I remember that about 10 years ago when smartphones started coming on the market, and addiction, mainly from games actually. And I remember a very good bit of research out of a South Korean university on all that. I'd forgotten that.
And the interesting part is that we only have about 12 years of history with smartphones. So, and again, not even that long really, because they didn't take off on the first day they came out. So we've got a short amount of history. The long-term health implications, who knows, there might be significant health implications of smartphone addiction, but we may not find that out for another 10 or 20 years as that starts to develop. These kids develop into adults and then develop problems later on in life, potentially. So that's the idea, is to get these kids off their digital devices and have a balance in their life. And it's pretty rich for me to be saying have a balance in their life when I talk about technology all day, every day, but having a balance in their life and not being addicted to their devices.
Yeah, indeed. Matt, always good talking to you. I'll come back in just a minute. I want to